Hey guys, it's Miss Robinson. Happy Friday. This is officially day 3 of online learning. And just from the amount of text that I got yesterday, I think that the online learning is getting easier. So that's awesome because we'll be doing it for the next 2 weeks after this week. So today's math lesson is going to be using an open number line. Now guys, we've talked about a number line. A number line will start at 0 and it'll go on through a certain number, but it gives you the numbers. The difference in an open number line and a number line is that an open number line doesn't give you any numbers. It just looks like a blank line and you fill in the numbers. Before we get started, I want to talk about some materials that you may want to use. Parents in class, we struggle with open number lines, and I think part of the reason is our kids, they like to write a little bit bigger, some of them, and so they'll have a tick mark, but the number won't be under the tick mark, it'll be over here, or it just won't be, it just doesn't match up with the tick mark. So what I have right here, and I've put it on my board just so you can see it, but if I was at home, I may put this on the floor. This is just a piece of string that I've cut, and I've just taped it on my board. So if they're having trouble writing the numbers on the number line at any point in this lesson, you may want to think about finding a piece of string or getting a shoelace out of a shoe and putting it on the floor so they can use that as their number line. And then what I did was, since we're going to be subtracting groups of 10, I just started with 0, well, 0's here somewhere, but I started with 0 when I made numbers 0 through 90. I didn't see any 100s that we needed, so I wrote all the numbers on like this. These are index cards, and I wrote 2 numbers on each index card and just cut them in half. That way they could physically put them on the number line and do their hops, if that makes it easier. Or if you have a whiteboard at home, this is what we use in school. They can draw their number line on a whiteboard and then do their hops and jumps on the whiteboard. And what that does is it just lets them have a little extra room, and for those kids especially that are still writing a little bit larger. Okay. So at this point, you have already done the solve and share, and you've watched the visual learning bridge. So I'm going to get started, and I'm going to talk about the visual learning bridge. I couldn't get this page to print for some reason, so I'm going to be looking away at the computer screen for just a second, but I'm still going to be talking to you guys. Okay, so at the visual learning bridge at the top, it says subtract 70, subtract 30 using an open number line. Now, when you're subtracting on an open number line, you're going to start with the largest number, just like we would do on any subtraction. So I'm going to start, and I put my little tick mark, and I'm going to put 70 underneath it. Okay? Now, we're going to jump back 30 because we are subtracting 30. If I'm talking about 30, as in groups of 10, 30 would be 3 groups of 10. So I'm going to jump back 3 groups of 10. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put 3 more tick marks. And as you can see, I'm trying to put equal spacing, because if you're jumping, there needs to be equal spaces between your numbers. That's very important when using an open number line. So if I count backwards by tens, I'm at 70. This next one would be 60, and then 50. As you can see, the digit in the tens place is going down by 1, and the digit in the ones place is staying the same. And then my last one would be 40. Okay? So I've got my numbers filled in. The next thing I need to go back and do is do my hops. So I'm starting at 70 because that's the largest number, and we're jumping back 30. So I'm going to jump back 3 times. So I'm going to jump back 1, 2, 3. So 70 subtract 30 would give me 40. You have to make sure that you know that when you're jumping from 70 to 60, you're not jumping 1. you're jumping 10. And same thing, when you jump from 60 to 50, you're not jumping a group of 1, you're jumping back a group of 10. And then last but not least, when you're at 50 and you're jumping back to 40, you're not jumping back 1, you're also jumping back a group of 10. Okay, so that tells me I've went 10, 20, 30, I've went 30 jumps back, and I've solved my equation, 70 subtract 30 equals 40. Now the next one that we're going to do together is going to require you to do a lot of jumping. So don't let that fool you, don't let it mess you up. You're going to do it the same way. You're just going to have to make sure that you're being extra cautious and you're allowing yourself enough room to write those numbers. So for this one, I'm going to use my numbers that I've cut out so you can see a different method to solve it. So again, boys and girls, when I'm subtracting, I'm going to start with the what digit? That's right, the largest digit, okay? And in this case, the largest number is 90. So I'm going to put 90 on my number line. Now this is different than number lines that we've done when we add, because when we add on an open number line, we start at the left-hand side and we add our digits, right? But when we subtract, we're going to do it the opposite. So this is the largest number that I'm going to have in the problem. So I'm going to put it on the right-hand side, like at the end of my numbered line. And I'm going to jump back 7 times because I'm jumping back 70. Let me go ahead and change my equation before I forget. Okay, so now, before I start adding these numbers, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my 7 tick marks so I know that I do not miss one. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and see, I've kind of made mine a little too close, but I hope that'll work out for us. 7. All right, so now all we have to do is count backwards. Just want to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good. Now all we got to do is count backwards. So starting at 90, my next 10 backwards would be 80. So let me tape 80 up there. Now I'm going to try to get it right underneath that line. See how it's matching up with the tick mark? Okay, what would be after 80? Good, 70. So it's going to go right up there underneath the tick mark. And then we're going to have 60. Good. Oh, it barely fits. Yay. And then 50. Now, if you'll notice, each number matches up with that tick mark, and that is so important using an open number line. And then we would have 40. Now, I have 2 more tick marks, so that means I need to put 2 more numbers up here. So I'm going to put 30. And then the last one is going to be 20. Okay? So now I'm going to do my jumps. And I'm going to start at 90, and each time I jump back, I'm jumping back a group of 10. So 90, if I jump back, that's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. So I have minus 10, minus 10, minus 10, minus 10, and minus 10. So, as you can see on our number line, we started at 90, we jumped back 70 times, so 7 groups of 10, and we ended up at 20. So 90 subtract 70 equals 20. Okay? So you guys can do this. I know you can. So on your independent practice, on page 625, there's only 4 problems, so I'm going to let you guys do all of those. And then on page 626, there's only 3. So you don't have many. You've got 7 problems to do on your own. Once you do this, make sure your parents send this to me, and make sure you're doing the solve and share and submitting it, and watching the visual learning bridge, and doing the quick check. Once you do all 4 things, you have to press the little, it looks like a little airplane that says send to teacher, and that will send me your assignment so I can grade it, okay? I know yesterday that at the end of our video, I talked about a writing assignment, and I don't think a lot of people seen it. So look for the video that I'm going to send in Remind or in Facebook Friday morning, and you will see the kid. I'll read some of the responses that kids sent me, the ones I do have, and I'll put our new topic for Friday. Okay? Bye, guys. If you need me, please let me know, okay? I'm here to help.